that maybe we could go over some specific things, especially some of the objections that we normally, would hear. So I'd love to have you guys do some role play and, jump in. We can start though with if you guys have any issues that you ran across this week. Let me see who's in the house. Nicholas, obviously, Mark Richardson, thank you for showing. Jason Richter, Jerry Smith, good to see you, my friend. Steve Mavis, glad to have you here, my friend. Moises, and somebody that looks like, what's his name? The comedian on iPhone.
Hey, what's up? What up? What up? It's me.
Oh, that's Philip.
Yeah, I'm the mystery guy.
All right, Philip is Blue, the mystery guy today. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How was everything with you?
Oh, I can't complain. Can't complain. Just over here trying to, close deals.
So I'm getting better. I'm getting a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? What are you doing to get better? What? How do you?
I'm practicing.
How do you know you're getting better?
Look, I'm practicing. I'm opening up a lot more.
Okay.
I'm opening up a lot more because usually it wasn't a fear of the phone; it's a fear of believing myself. So that's the issue. That's the issue I was having.
When you say believing in yourself,
knowing I can do it, and meaning like knowing I could do it.
Okay.
And that's the issue I was really having because I didn't want to be connected with nobody. So that's the issue I was having, and I had to open up to that.
Okay. So you feel different now. You feel like you're making progress, and that's because mostly because of what?
Mostly because I couldn't believe that I couldn't do it. Issue I was really having because I didn't want to be connected with nobody. So that's the issue I was having, and I had to open up to that.
When you say connected with anybody, tell me about that.
Like, and meaning like I always had this issue of connecting with people.
Okay.
So I've had to figure out what the problem was with myself.
Okay. And you feel like you've made some inroads with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So what Philip is talking about is not necessarily unusual. Sometimes if you find yourself sort of not getting on the phones or having an internal conversation about your relationship, your lack of relationship, or your inability to create a relationship, it can actually keep you from getting on the phone and accomplishing what you need to do. And Philip is saying that he's made some inroads with that. He's addressed it, he's recognized it, and he's made some inroads. And I don't know about you guys, but I think we've all kind of been there at some time in our career, and it's very important that we figure out a way to get past that. And these types of trainings right here, I think they help because they give you a safe place for you to do all your blunders, and that's important. It's like get in a safe environment, make all of your mistakes, do all the things that you're afraid to do in front of anybody else, and build that confidence muscle as far as just going through the repetition. I don't know if there's anything that builds it more than actually getting on the phone, but there's definitely something to be said about building your confidence beforehand by hearing some objections, by going through some responses, by hearing other people's ways that they might deal with a particular issue. So thanks for sharing that, Philip, because I know that, at some level, we all kind of have to, at some point, deal with ourselves in terms of addressing, our confidence, our ability to communicate and connect with other people, and to be able to move them to a place where they're actually willing to do a deal with you, confidence wise, because we're always worried about particular questions. So today, one of the things that I was actually looking to do, which was a good segue to lead us here, is the role playing, the actual objections that we'll get. There's only so many of these objections, okay? And so we're going to go through them. I'm going to share my screen first to kind of, for those of you, it doesn't look like we have too many new people, but I'm gonna just go through this real quick. I think Justin now has this particular has this on his wow, my computer is just doing the most right now. Give me 1 second. He has this up on his website. I'm gonna try to share my screen and so you guys can see it. Give me 1 sec. Here we go. Okay, you guys, let me know. Can everybody see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. So this is the basis of the methodology that we use. We operate within a system developed by Claude Diamond for talking to people. It's called the GUTS sales system. And it's based on a number of different things, pattern interrupts, not coming into a phone call sounding like a telemarketer or basically like everybody else sounds, getting somebody sort of, off their already always way of operating when a phone rings and they hear somebody on the other line. That's where it starts for us. And our goal in this whole process is to move somebody, typically when you get them on the phone, depending on what type of lead. If it's a lead where they've already raised their hand, and what I mean by that is it's a Zillow lead for sale by owner, it's a Craigslist lead where they're actually selling their product or service or home or whatever, they're normally going to start someplace in the middle. They're going to be 4, 5, or 6. And the reason why I say that is because they want to sell their home, and you may ask them a question, let's say on your text message that says something like, are you flexible in your price or your terms? And they'll come back to you and they'll say, yes, they are. Well, in their mind, what they mean by flexible is I'll give you a $5,000 discount if you can give me cash today. Like that's literally what they're thinking. And the other thing that they could be thinking is, oh, here goes another one of those investors trying to lowball me. Okay, those are the common responses that they are already sort of putting in their mind as to the phone call. So, but for the most part, they'll start in the middle, and our job is to move them up to a 8, 9, or 10 so that we can close the deal. I want to speak on that. Last week, we had a Chris come on. Chris calls himself Mr. Cash Offer. And we did a role play. And I was coming at the role play from the point of view of that we were doing a role play for a lease option deal. Well, throughout the role play, he was checking my motivation, and he kept realizing that I wasn't motivated, especially for what he was trying to introduce, which was a subject to deal, right? So the reason I touched on that is because nothing matters in the game that we play called real estate investing. Like none of it matters unless you get that person on the line that is actually motivated to sell their property. Like nothing else matters until they are motivated. Excuse me, gentlemen, excuse me. If they're not motivated, especially you need a much higher level of motivation. You need an emergency situation. You need a real problem that you can solve if you're going to do a subject to, right? Like nobody's going to turn over. Okay, look, let me go ahead and put myself on title. I'll start making the payments. You have my word for it. But you're going to stay on the loans, and I'm going to pay the loans on your behalf. Who is going to do that just because, right? Like nobody does that. So The only way that you have an opportunity to do a subject to deal is if that person is at a 10 as far as motivation. There's a train coming down the track and they need to deal with it, right? Their foreclosure date is coming up. Their sale date is coming up, and they're getting ready to go to the courthouse steps, right? Now, my point being is that a lot of times we get somebody on the phone and, you know, we may actually talk about doing a deal, but the truth of the matter is that unless they are actually motivated, everything is just a good idea. And it's something they'll try on like a jacket, right? As investors, we can't actually operate like that. We've got to get to a point to where they actually see something going down. So we operate under 3 rules. We always set an agenda with them, let them know exactly what we're going to do while we're on the phone. We give them permission to fire us, and we get it all done ideally within 3 minutes. Those are the 3 rules, right? Within 3 minutes, we want to know if in fact we have somebody who we can do a deal with. And if we do, if we have somebody we can do a deal with, let's do a deal, right? If not, unfortunately, you know, you got to keep it moving. And we have to fight this feeling of that we have to get a deal done, that, or that in fact that you even have a deal when really, you know, it's on quicksand. It could sink at any minute, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on. So we set the agenda by creating a roadmap they can see. We ask questions, we give them permission to ask us questions and to fire us. We always want to find out why. Why are you selling? Why don't you just do this? Why are you doing this instead? And why couldn't you just do this? And we want to, in that questioning, eliminate their outs, right? Obviously, we want to talk about the money, we want to talk about the timing, we want to talk about the commitment. And then we close with a recap. We solve or satisfy. We ask questions, we have them ask us questions, and then we confirm, we change, we close, and we lock down our close for our follow-up meeting, if in fact there is going to be one, right? Which there always is. All right, so I'm gonna stop that screen share and we're going to go to something else here. And you guys can jump in if you have any questions or anything that you want to bring to the conversation. Please feel free to do so. I want to find I'm looking for my questions here. So you guys, everybody's kind of quiet, man. Must be the Wednesday. Horace Cyrus, what is up?
I was gonna say, Victor, when we get to like the role playing aspect, if we could do, there was 2 objections that I had this week that it kind of threw me off because I didn't really know a lot of the companies, but for the lease options, talking about like the home warranties and how all that worked. And that one I kind of fumbled and stumbled on that one, but I fixed it. But it was like I would want it like to have some kind of better thing to tell them versus.
Okay. Where do you think you fell off?
Well, I think I fell off where he was asking about, you know, the who's responsible for the property, all the fixes and things like that. And I said that they get a warranty, a home warranty, and that they're going to be responsible for all the repairs except for foundation and roofing issues. And he was okay with that. He's like, yeah, but a warranty doesn't mean jack, you know, that doesn't do anything. And I said, well, I think it kind of does. And he said, no, I don't really. He said, who do you use? And I just said, oh, I use like Old Republic, and that's the only one that I knew of. And so I didn't know how to like direct it back to, you know, that one kind of threw me off.
What was his issue with the home warranty?
He just said it didn't validate anything. He's like, that doesn't mean anything. I'm like,
okay, so we can role play a little bit, and you can play the role of the seller. So your concern at this point, Mr. Seller, is that you don't want damage done to the house?
Right. I just, you know, I don't want there to be like my house torn up and stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense. So the first thing that we do is we have them put some skin in the game so that they have something at risk. That's step number one, towards having them take care of the property. Step number two is our very detailed and clear conditions that we put into our agreement, and I'll show you a copy of the agreement. They are actually held to a higher standard than even a tenant would be held. And because they've already sort of committed to something by paying into it, they have something at risk. So it makes sense for them to do it. Now, you won't be responsible for any sort of maintenance or anything like that, where you normally would be getting called to fix a toilet or stop a dripping faucet or something like that. Have you gotten those calls in the past? Is that kind of, what you don't want to deal with?
Yeah, I don't want any of the headaches anymore. I just kind of want all the responsibility to be gone.
Yes, I know. I'm a landlord myself, and it's the worst part of being a landlord. They didn't tell me that when they said I was going to get, make my way in real estate, and then all of a sudden it was a nightmare. So I appreciate you sharing that with me, and yeah, these are homeowners. They're highly vetted homeowners. So the way that we set it up is everything under $600, and it's made clear in our agreement. Everything under $600, they are responsible for. And then what we do is we actually have them pay for a home warranty that takes care of all the major appliances. Now, from what I understood, all the major appliances in the home are in good working condition at this time, right? We don't have a roof leak. The roof is in good shape, right?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the house.
Okay, so we don't have to worry about a plumbing issue or air conditioning or even the appliances, even the garbage disposal. All those things are in pretty good shape, but they're at risk, right? Always at risk, right?
Right. Well, yeah. They're wear and tear after a while.
Yeah. So what the home warranty does is everything over the $500, $600 threshold, it actually takes care of that. The tenant will pay a service call fee. The service call fee would, is someplace in the area of $35 to $100, depending on which plan you get. And we use nationally recognized reputable companies such as Select Home Warranty, First American Home Warranty, Fidelity Home Warranty, names that are, that have been doing this in the industry for years and years. So does that address your issue for you, Mr. Seller?
That makes me feel more comfortable in that. Yeah, it seems fully explained.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have many success stories. I just had a lady call me on a property that we closed on. It wasn't really that long ago. Actually, it's been about 3 months, and she called me and she was asking about how does she go about getting the home warranty coverage, right? So I just walked her through, just call the number. You have it on your documents and everything. Just give them a call. And I followed up with her, matter of fact, about 2 weeks ago, and she said, "Oh yeah, they came out. We paid $65, which was their warranty amount. We paid $65, and we ended up getting a brand new dryer because they couldn't repair our old one." Right. So that's what that's the benefit of doing something like a home warranty. So if that addresses all your questions, I'm going to go ahead and get this over to you right now and follow up with you at 4 o'clock, like we talked about. Is that good for you, Mr. Seller?
That'd be perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. Now, up to this point, you just seem like a real upstanding, person and a person of your word. So at 4 o'clock today, I can pretty much bank on the fact that you and I are going to be able to get together. And when I give you a call today at 4 o'clock, what's going to happen then, Mr. Seller?
I will go through the agreement, and if everything works, I don't see why we can't move forward with it.
So I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. I had noise in the background. When you say that go through with the agreement, if everything works, what do you anticipate might not work?
I just want to read through it, make sure everything is like what we just talked about, and then if it is, then yeah, I don't have any issues of moving forward.
Okay, so if everything is exactly as we talked about today, and it's all in writing, like we said, when we speak at 4 o'clock, we're going to go ahead and move forward with this.
That'd be correct.
I'm sorry. to know we're going to move forward? Is that
Yes, that'd be correct. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Nick. I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I'll get this over to you right now. We'll speak again at 4 o'clock, okay?
Cool deal. Thanks, man.
All right. So does anybody have any questions on that? Nick, any feedback? How that sound for you?
I loved how, because that where I screwed up was I didn't know names of like the warranty companies. The only one that I knew was Old Republic. That's the only one that I knew.
So if you're in front of your computer when you're talking to your client, which I'm pretty sure most of us are,
right?
Google home warranty companies real quick. Just Google home warranty companies, and then just they'll be, the top ones will be right at the top of the list, and just say, look, we use nationally recognized, reputable companies such as da da da.
Right. Yeah. I just kind of, it locked me up, and then it was just like the
you went into break like, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And again, that's why the role play is so great, is that you can kind of go through these little scenarios and stuff. And the more you do it, the easier it gets for everybody. I see we have some new people in the room. You guys, this is amazing how many people have joined us. Thank you so much for joining in. Suzette G, I don't think I've ever seen you on the role play. Thank you so much for joining us. I've seen you on Claude stuff. So we appreciate you being here. I see my friend Luz. Horace Cyrus is in the house. Haven't seen you in a minute. I know you've been out there.
It's been a minute, Victor. How are you?
I'm terrific, Horace. I'm terrific, man. Matt is in the house. Got Josh.
The team grew and everybody's doing awesome. So great.
Oh, good. I see your board in the background. Looks like it's filled up with some activity.
I'm working.
That's what I'm talking about. There you go. All right, we have Jason in the house. Curtis Smith is in the house. Marvin Elmore, Mark Nichols, Moises is in the house. Marvin Elmore, Jaime Cuevas, what's up, buddy? Sandra is in the house. Rick, what's up, Rick? Marvin, Philip Montoya. There's my dear friend Luz and Vernon the Shields. Jonathan is in the house. Jonathan, what's up, buddy? Hey, thank you guys all for being here. Appreciate. Let's see what we got. Some people in the chat room. Who do you use for home warranty, Victor? I use 3 main companies, and that's, like I said, it's Select Home Warranty, First American Home Warranty, and Fidelity Home Warranty. Those are my go-to ones. A little bit about the home warranty deal. They're going to ask you your zip code, and the reason you need to have more than one on your list is they're going to ask you the zip code of the property, right? And for some reason, and this has happened to me in the past, is that they'll be able to do a zip code, and then they'll reach a limit for what they're able to write in that zip code. Like, I don't know if that's some kind of policy thing that either the company has, but I think it's sort of a mandate for companies as they go into areas. So I got a Select Home Warranty on the property.
So that means if you're in the hood, you don't get that much money. That's what you trying to tell me?
No, they can't redline like that. And if they do, I would suggest you do something about it. Call an attorney right away. But they do move around, and sometimes you may have to go to your next one on the list or your next one on the list to make sure that they're offering coverage in that zip code at that time that you're actually trying to write business. So definitely.
So that means you in a war zone, you won't get as much in the high end. That's what that means.
No, the home warranties, the way home warranties work, they don't even visit the property. They do some basic stuff. I guess they pull up PropStream, no, or they pull up something, right? And they get some information on the property or whatever. But they write these policies without even ever visiting the property. So they basically, if you're on the zip code list, they have to write it. I think they're mandated by law. So.
Oh, you live in Chicago? If you look in, oh no, you can't help you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's that part, but I've never run across that, and I've done it in, some areas that would be considered, C, or maybe even C minus, and they still covered it. So, Okay, Jonathan says, I'm here just working on some deals. That's what you should be doing, my friend. Good for you. All right, so let's do this. I'm gonna see if I can share my screen, and we're gonna go through some of the objections. Again, the objections are real constant. You're going to see the same objections all the time. Let's see, that's that the one? No, that's not the one. Bear with me, guys. Okay, can you guys see the objection cheat sheet?
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, so this is a cheat sheet that we use that basically has a number of different objections on there. And let me move it over, actually, see if I can get it over here on myself. Okay, you guys still seeing it?
Yeah, it's still there.
Okay, great. Thanks you guys. Okay, so this is a cheat sheet to help you learn how to naturally respond to common questions and objections from homeowners, typically about doing a lease option transaction with you. This is not a script, it's a learning tool. One of the main things that Claude Diamond talks about is, he is anti-script. And even though we do things, that sound repetitive in the way we present them, the truth of the matter is that we stay away from scripts. How do you stay away from scripts? Well, there's really two things you have to understand. One is you have to learn how to listen, right? Like when you do a script, you're basically going through a process, right? You're trying to get all of this information into somebody because it's part of the script. And what it does is that until a script is second nature to us, we're spending so much time trying to get back to the script that we lose our ability to listen to what they're saying. Because a lot of times there is parts of the script that you never really even have to get to, but you weren't listening well enough to just go ahead and close when the closing opportunity presented itself. So we avoid scripts. But with that said, there are some common responses that you can have to common objections that come on all the time. So if somebody will volunteer with me, I'll read the objection and then you guys, answer it in your best, role play. I'm on the phone with a seller voice. So who wants to volunteer? Give me somebody. Come on, don't everybody jump at once.
I'll volunteer.
Okay, who's that?
Jason.
Hey, Jason. Thanks, buddy.
Hey, Victor.
All right, so let's start with number one. Jason, I'm looking for a cash offer, man. I only want cash. I need cash.
Okay. Well,
you got to read the answer part.
Okay. I'm just going to read it. Okay.
Yeah. You can just read it, and then we can massage.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Okay, Victor. As an investor, I really need to make a profit. So my cash offer would be somewhere in the following range. Somewhere between 130 to 138,000. And so depending on repairs and our due diligence, of course, does that sound like something we should talk about or maybe not?
You know what? I can't do it for that price. That's just not high enough for me.
All right. Well, that doesn't seem like it'll be a good fit. So let's go ahead and take that off the table and call it over. But now that it's over, and before I go, if I were to offer you your full price today, would you consider doing something creative with me for, say, the next 18 to 24 months?
All right. Well, what you got in mind? Okay, so off the role play. So did you guys get a sense of what we're doing here? The most important part about thank you so much, Jason. I really appreciate you role playing that with me, and I'll I'll give you an opportunity to kind of, you know, unpack it here in a second. But the main thing that happened there is Jason made an offer to me. I wasn't really in line with the offer, which is going to happen a lot of times, especially when you're talking about a lease option property, a for sale by owner that you called, a FSBO listing, a Craigslist listing that you called, and they're not really going to, you know, be interested in getting a low offer, because most of the times those houses are in pretty good shape, right? Like they could be rented, if not up to 2020 standards, they're at least renter standards, right? Which, and you understand the difference, right? There's a renter standard, which, oh, I'll move in there because it's in, you know, decent shape, it's rentable, whatever. But you wouldn't move in there as like your house, right? You'd want something a lot nicer than that if you were to move in there. But anyway, so what he did here is that doesn't seem to be a good fit. And let's go ahead and take it all this off the table and call it over. So what he did is he dismissed that conversation and allowed the seller to get the sense that, okay, well, I'm not going to go there with you, right? But I have another option if you give me some time to listen to it. And that's where you want to go. I always try to get a cash offer in, right? Like always try to get a cash offer in. And I say things like, I will make you a cash offer, but I'm an investor and this is how I feed my family. So for me to do a cash offer, I usually have to get a pretty significant discount. And, for this, I would have to, my offer would be someplace in, the $180,000 to $190,000 range. Is that something you would consider if I was to come over today with a bag of cash, or maybe not? They'll tell me, they'll say, no, I can't do something like that. Okay, well, good. Well, let's just take that off the table, and we can just call the conversation over. But now that it's over, I like to make you, I like to give you something else to consider. And then I go in, I say, look, would you be willing to lease the property to me for 18 to, I never say 18 to 24 months, to be quite honest with you. I say, 36 to 48 months, because I need to have room for them to bring me down, because more than likely, no matter what you say here, they're going to bring you down, right? So I always say something like, from 36 to 48 months, and I can give you full price and some additional income throughout the process, along with an attractive deposit on the front end. Is that something we can talk about, Mr. Seller, or maybe not? Jason, did you see something there, get something there that you want to speak on, or that you learned from it?
I did.
I think
yes.
You're cutting out, dude.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just me, but your yeah, it's doing a really bad echo. Do you have on headphones?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, that's a little bit better. Yeah.
How about now?
Yeah.
This empty house.
Oh, okay, got it.
Is it okay? Yeah, I'm in the empty.
Yeah, that's a little bit better. It's a little scratchy.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that, but okay, so one more time. How about now? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, much better.
Okay, I was just going to say, so a lot of us, what if we're at that point where we know the only way we're going to do anything is to take them into the lease option? We don't even have that money to offer them to even really make a real cash offer.
Well, you always have the money to make a cash offer, because you're going to move that contract anyway, unless you plan on buying it for yourself.
Right, I gotcha.
Yeah, so that's never really an issue as far as you understand. You always have the money. The money is always available, because there is somebody out there that if you put together a attractive agreement on the front end, you're going to just simply sell that agreement.
That's right. Okay.
right?
Gotcha.
So you just want to make sure that when you throw a number out there, that it is, you know, it works for you to be able to sell that, make whatever your profit is that you have as a baseline for your profit center. For instance, some people want to make $5,000. Okay, that's the minimum they want to make on a deal. Other people want to make 10,000. Some people want to make 25,000. Right. So it only matters that you have those numbers work to your advantage in that situation.
Okay.
That's it. So you're never you're always, you can always make that, and you can always just make that sort of like a baseline, right? And then you turn it around and you dress it up so it looks like, you know, I would never disrespect you like that. So now what have I done? I've now kind of created a relationship, and I've kind of now addressed you with a certain level of respect. Right. That I'm not, you know, I'm not that guy that's going to take you there, but I do have something that may in fact work for you. You see what I'm saying? So now I've kind of worked the relationship a little bit. I've kind of nudged myself in a little bit because I've demonstrated to them that I hold them at a certain, you know, level of respect now.
Right.
Okay. So that's a sort of subliminal message that you're implying there. Any other questions? All right, you guys are extremely quiet. Go ahead.
I do have a question, but I'm afraid it might be off topic just a little bit. So you want to wait for that? Just, it was something we were talking about a couple weeks ago.
Okay, yeah. If you can table that for a second, but I'll be happy to get back to it. Okay, so don't forget it.
Hey, Victor.
Yes, sir. Yes.
What
are you scraping at now?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Victor, where are you scraping now? You just scraping Zillow, or are you doing Craigslist?
Yes, Zillow and Craigslist. I'm sorry?
Are you using automated REI?
I am using automated REI. I have I use Freedom Soft as my system. Now people have different opinions as to, you know, all-inclusive systems, and the risk obviously is that if they break down or go offline, then your entire business is in there. That is one concern. So I'm constantly backing up to make sure that I have my information available on some other platform that I have access to it, either be spreadsheets or in, you know, in my Google Drive, whatever that I can keep it moving. So that's a risk. But within the system, it allows me to, you know, do my workflows. It allows me to do scrapes both on they actually don't do Zillow anymore, but they do some really good scrape Craigslist scrapes. And, you know, I get about 6,000 leads a month that I can pull directly out of the system. And I pay $198 a month for my system, but it includes pretty much everything. I don't have to go outside of it. Now, saying that to say, as part of the club of the group, we have some real good relationships with all the people over at the Automated REI. If you guys know Michael Batista and Tusif, those guys, they give us direct access to them. So if you are using their systems, the great thing about it is if there is a breakdown, there is somebody for you to talk to right away. You're not just calling into some, you know, customer service center that, you know, especially with COVID, they're only there, you know, periodically hit and miss, and you never know, you know, when you can get a hold of somebody. But yeah, I use Freedom Soft.
So you scraping with Freedom Soft, or you scraping with automated REI?
Both. Yeah.
So automated REI, you can scrape with them Craigslist.
Yes. You can scrape Craigslist, and you can scrape Zillow with the automated REI. And you can also pull leads, not just basic leads, but they will also do custom lead orders for you. Here's another thing that I like about the automated REI, and this is going to be, I'm going to tell Michael Batista he owes me money now. But here's another great thing about the automated REI. If you guys don't know about skip tracing, right? Skip tracing can get to be pretty pricey.
Yeah, but I got bad data from there.
From?
The data wasn't good.
What made the data not good?
Wrong
like
number.
You were buying things that were supposed to be on a particular date and the date has passed?
No, I'm talking about with the skip tracing. The skip tracing was wrong numbers disconnected.
Yeah. So I find that that's often the case with skip tracing as a whole, but so there's a couple of ways to deal with that. One is, if you pay more, like with Freedom Soft, I can pay as much as 55 cents for a skip trace. Right. But it's a super, super strong, well-vetted skip trace. And it's a guaranteed skip trace. So in other words, if I pay for that skip trace and that number is wrong or the information is inaccurate in any way, I could ask for a credit for that skip trace.
Right. I mean, for 15 cents, I can get the high 70s correct data.
That's strong. That's strong.
Yeah, that's what I've been able to get for 15 cents. For 15 cents.
Who are you with? Are you doing batch or are you doing
batch leads?
Yeah, batch is pretty good. I've had really good luck with batch, to be honest with
batch
you.
Leads, I tried maybe
about an account with them.
Right, I tried maybe about 4 or 5 of them, but batch leads is the best.
Yeah. And the advantage also of the batch leads is that they're pretty fast. They're almost instant. Like they'll get your information back to you, and within an hour you'll have all of your information, including many times some really good emails, everything else that you need to contact this person. That one of the drawbacks of the way that you can get a skip trace down to 5 cents is that you aggregate. For those of you who don't know what that is, that means that you gather a number of leads in one order, and you do such a large order that you're able to get pricing, at a low point. But there is a deterioration in quality sometimes. And you'll find that you're only getting 30, 40, maybe 50% effectiveness. If that is a problem for you, then you should do exactly what we're talking about here, which is step up your game, look for some other ones, find whatever works for you that satisfies you in terms of the percentages that you feel comfortable with. So you've been able to get some good results with your batch, and you're paying about 15 cents. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I with batch I do very well. I do very well with batch. I do I do a lot of expires.
Okay.
I do 60 years and up and other criterias and stuff like that. And yes. batch I might get a bad one maybe around like some 65, 69, but on average, it's at least 75. And 75 is really a good number. 75% hit rate is a good number.
75 is awesome. 75 is awesome. Number. Yeah, that's a really good number because, the only thing they can do is they can scrape. They can't call all the numbers and verify that number is correct, right? What they can do is they can go in and they can look and see based on primarily historical data, which means that number was used effectively within a short period of time. And they have certain ways that they can actually go in there and pull that information. And it costs to do that. So, at 15 cents though, that's not a bad deal. That's actually not a bad. And are you connected with Batch through a relationship with Batch directly, or is it through a system that you're using?
I pay them like $55 a month, and they got a CRM and all that stuff, but I use Podio.
Okay.
And, we have inside our group right now, we have a shared prop stream.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a shared prop stream. So that cut my costs down because I was paying $100 for that. I'm quite sure all of those subscriptions can get real pricey, especially when you add on a VA and everything.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, yeah. If you guys can see, I'm doing one-on-one coaching and stuff, and part of the one-on-one coaching that I do is really centered around, finding the systems that work for you, that make you feel comfortable. I'm sorry, I can't see you on the screen. Who am I speaking? Is this Vernon?
Yeah, this is Vernon.
Okay, good. Okay. So like Vernon is saying, right? My assumption is, Vernon, that you've tried a couple of different things, right? You've tried a couple of different systems. You've done, some things, and you were satisfied with where you landed as far as batch goes. That now that's what you're working with batch. Is that correct?
No, I just use batch for skip tracing.
Okay.
That's the best skip tracing I've been able to find. But
but you had tried some other skip tracing services.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, that's what I'm referring to. So what Vernon is talking about is, he went through the processes, and at some point he got to something that made him feel comfortable. He was getting the results he wanted. He was getting, the numbers that he wanted in terms of, quality of lead. 75% of your skip traces being connectable. That's an amazing number. So props to you. And what I was going to say there is that's the process you have to go through. You have to go through, figure out what the things are for you. Now, one way that you can say, man, they say experience is the best teacher. They should say other people's experience are the best teacher because they paid for it, right? So that's really, so the advantage of being in a group like we're doing right now, and like Vernon is sharing his information with us, he's kind of already paid a certain price. You don't have to pay it again. You can just piggyback on his knowledge and experience.
So I have a question then. Would you ever consider using Fiverr for skip tracing?
You said Fiverr?
Yeah,
I've never used Fiverr, so I can't speak on it.
Yeah,
I use Fiverr. They charge me 1,000 skip traces for like $40.
How good is the data?
A good 80%.
80%?
How did you
$40?
How do you determine 80%?
Because
is that just the number that you felt like like you were getting most of them, or tell me about the 80%?
I was getting most of the calls through Fiverr. Like, even though they didn't want to sell, even though that I felt disappointed, but that's not the point. But
no,
they actually answered
the numbers right.
Yeah. Yeah, it took like 2 days though, but hey, I got them right though. Okay.
So there you go, guys. There's another method that's being used by somebody in the group. They're going to Fiverr and sending them, but like he said, Fiverr is going to take a little bit longer because they go in and they do a little bit of aggregating too to control their pricing, and they'll get it back to you, and it's up to you.
I have a feeling they use TLO.
Okay,
that's the name of it, TLO. So they get it from the credit bills. So that's how they get their data.
Okay. All right. Appreciate you sharing that information, man.
Victor, you ever use Nexus Lexus?
I have. They have just been a little bit pricey.
Right, they are pricey.
They've been, they've been in the 70 to 80%, effectiveness rate for me, but I just couldn't, some of theirs have gotten as high as $1.10.
Yeah, that's the one where you get the next of kin, the brother, the sister.
Yeah, where you get the whole, where you basically get, like ancestry.com.
Yeah. They got it, but you're gonna pay for it.
You're gonna pay for it. So yeah, I went with them for a while, but I wasn't, it just wasn't effective for me price-wise at the time.
Price-wise, right.
Yeah. The quality information was great. But it was like, I just, at that stage of the game, I couldn't afford them.
Right.
And I've found some things since then that have, where I have not had to go back to them. So, so that's where I am with it.
You say you use Freedom Soft. What have you ever used Podio? You didn't like Podio, or?
I have used Podio. I did like Podio, but I just liked at the time, especially, that everything was built into the system. Like everything is in there that I need. It gives me the 6,000 leads per month that I can pull. There's just a lot of benefit to it in terms of what I was trying to do. Podio was requiring me to build it out.
Okay, let me ask you this. You keep saying the 6,000 leads. Do you have to pay for those 6,000 leads?
No, they come as part of they're part of my monthly. I could pay for additional leads on top of it.
So the 6,000 is skip trace or 6,000 leads? Which one?
6,000 leads, and there's only like it's part of it is like 25 skip trace, the highest level skip trace. I get like 25 skip trace, and I use those only for specific things, especially like my driving for dollars. I'll use that then because I want that information right away, and I want high quality information. The rest of the time I go through the automated REI or my batch account.
How many users do you get with the Freedom Saw?
6.
For $200?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I have an affiliate link.
Yeah, because Podio charge you every person, you know what I mean?
Every person, yeah.
Yeah, so to start off at 25, you got another person, that's $50 already.
Yeah. And by the time you get to 6, that's $300.
Right.
And that's just the platform.
That's just the platform. That's not even the leads or anything.
That's right. Yeah. So, you can get in touch with me or whatever. I can set you up with a demonstration or whatever, let you see how I use it. And if it's something that you're down for, like I said, full disclosure, I have an affiliate relationship with them. So, if you want to do it, I could set you up with it.
Okay.
All right, guys. We went a little bit off track right there, but I see these Wednesdays as an opportunity for us to really get our conversation on and our learning. And I really appreciate that you guys, jump in here and share not only your experiences, but your systems, your methodologies, your processes, because we're all in this together. We're all trying to learn. So really appreciate it, Vernon. Appreciate you sharing with us. You as well, Philip. Vernon, do you want to play objection number 2 with me?
Okay.
All right. Can you see my screen still?
Yes, I see objection number 1.
No, you gotta lift it up. You gotta lift it up, Victor.
Okay, I can see number 2 on my screen. Give me 1 second. Let me see if maybe if I make it a little bit smaller or something.
Now, can you lift it up? Like scroll it down.
Well.
Yeah, scroll down, Victor.
Okay, so I'm scrolling right now. Can you guys see me scrolling or no?
No, it's frozen or something.
Okay, all right. This is what I'm gonna do. Bear with me, you guys.
Hey, Victor, is there a way you can share this with the group? Because this is a great idea, the cheat sheet. I don't know if it's...
Absolutely, yeah. So give me just a second. I think it's kind of just a little bit frozen or whatever.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Hey,
it's
man,
not even moving. It's not even moving. It's not even moving.
Don't be talking about my computer, man.
Is that Dell? Is that Dell out here?
You know what, man? I'm not gonna be putting up with you.
Oh, it must be a Dell. Oh my God, I'm sorry, man. I didn't know.
All right, hold on a second, you guys. So for whatever reason, let me see, where's my screen share? You feel different now? You feel like you're making progress and that's all right, there we go. Hold on a second, guys. Yeah, my Dell seems to be messing up a little bit. But I'm
sorry to hear that.
You know about these Dells.
I got a MacBook. I'm sorry.
You're an Apple head.
Damn, I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay, I see how y'all do.
I mean, I got an HP as well. I got a Dell.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna let somebody in, and then I'm going to do this. bear with me. It's coming, guys.
Dell's been getting a hard time these last few visits.
It has been. Where's my meeting control? All right, hold on. I'm gonna do something else. Bear with me.
Yeah, I have a Dell myself. It's only a couple years old, but it gives me trouble for sure.
All right.
At times, when you need it the most, that's usually what you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you want to call. I'm going to do something. What it is sometimes because I use two screens.
Oh, you fancy, huh?
Yeah, I have two big giant monitors. And so sometimes what happens is it doesn't allow me to.
Yeah.
Let me share.
I hear you, Jonathan.
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Now it's telling me my device needs to restart. Not now, it won't. Oh, don't worry, it's not the end of the world. Who else is in there? Let's see. Victor, are you able to share the full objections? Okay, yes. I have a Dell in. Whatever. All right. So let me open
it. Might work. It might work a little faster than me getting through this traffic in New York City.
Are you in New York City right now?
Yes, I'm in New York City now and a whole bunch of traffic right now.
But
at least your Dell computer go a little bit faster.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's okay. It's okay. I'm getting to my screen. Let me get to my Wednesday.
It's cool. I mean, we got a whole hour.
Yeah, you guys, you know, if you have any questions or anything, shoot me some questions. You know, I'm definitely, you know, down with answering questions. If you guys have a particular scenario that you've been challenged with, objections cheat sheet. Let's open this back.
Are you doing more of lease option or ugly house wholesaling?
Do I?
Yeah.
I do mostly lease options. That's my go-to process. And then I, you know, obviously I know a number of different methods in buying and selling real estate. So I start with that because it's the low-hanging fruit. And then from there, I determine, you know, what I want to do, if there's any other opportunities out there that I want to, you know, take advantage of. I am venturing into a lot more things right now, especially some of the pre-foreclosure stuff, because I'm able now to do some things like, you know, act as my own bank in some way. So I'm looking to start to, you know, solidify my assets and do some buy and hold and things like that. And there's no better way to do it than, you know, through the subject twos and, you know, seller carrybacks like that. So it allows me to. I'm working on one right now for a home for myself, which is actually, you know, the same way, doing a seller carryback scenario on it. Okay, I'm gonna try it again, guys. You guys let me know if you see it. Okay, do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, we see it.
Yeah.
Scroll.
Okay.
Your mouse is moving. You see that?
You see my mouse moving?
Yeah.
Got it.
All right.
There you go.
All right. So, can you see me scrolling now?
Yep.
See, I told you I'd fix it. All you guys.
There you go. Good job.
All you guys got jokes.
Yep.
Of course. This is what.
You know,
What's that?
all you comedians in the house.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
But we had to keep the ball rolling.
You're not sorry. All right. So let's see. Who's gonna do number 2 with me? Vernon? Was that you?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'll read this. I'll be that, and you'll be. You can be the seller. I'll do the objection, and then you just read the answer. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So are you going to be living in the house, or is someone else going to be living there?
Good question, Mr. Homeowner. No, like I said before, I'm a real estate investor, and here's what I would like to do. I would like to put some good people in there and make some money doing it. But I also want this to be a great fit for you. Does that sound reasonable or maybe not?
Okay, so a couple of things here as well, right? Is you want to be completely honest and transparent. Unless you are going to live in the house, you let them know that it's not going to be you living in a house. I don't usually have that as a problem because they always see my phone number. They realize that I don't live in their state. They always say, where are you? I'm in California. Well, how are you going to buy a house from California? I'm like, I do it all over the country. So for me, that's never really an issue. They always understand that I'm not going to be the one living in there, but it comes up and you clear that away right now. You let them know that I'm no, I'm not going to be doing it. What I do as an investor to make money, and you even let them know within this answer that, yeah, I make a profit on this, but I'm not going to take a dime out of your pocket to do it. In fact,
how much money you be waiting, Victor? How much money you making on me?
How much is too much?
I don't know.
If I give you everything that you're looking for, and fulfill all of your needs, do you have a problem with how much money I make?
It depends.
If you and I come to an agreement and all of your numbers are met, all of your timelines and all of your goals are fulfilled, do you have a problem with how much money I make?
It depends. It depends how much money could somebody actually make. Like if I told you I can give it to you for 100,000, how much money you think you could make off of that?
I have no idea. I never know until the closing, because there's a long way to go as far as what I'm going to do with marketing and everything else, and what the marketplace will dictate a number of different things. But like I said, how much is too much for me to make on this in your mind?
$20,000.
Okay, so if I was to make more than $20,000, what would happen then? What would you like to see happen then?
I would like to see I get a cut of that.
Okay, how much of it would you like?
I don't know, because I don't know how much you're making off of me. Okay,
well, I'm not making anything off of you. Basically what I'm doing is I am solving your problem. I'm doing it in the time that you requested. I'm giving you everything that you've asked for, or everything that you could get on your own. So, if you have a problem with me, making some money while fulfilling all of your demands at the same time, then, maybe this is not something for us. Is this over for us, Mr. Seller?
I don't,
is that
no,
a deal killer that I make money even though you get everything that you asked for and are looking for?
Okay, I can see where you're going with this.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to make sure you get absolutely everything you're looking for. We're going to come to an agreement today. And, whatever I make,
happened to you before?
The potential is that I could make nothing.
Did I ever ask you that question before? All right, how much money you will make on me?
Yeah, I have had that before. Yeah, and I answered it the same way. Yeah, okay. I always start with how much is too much. And if they really have a problem with it, I'll step off, because they're going to be a problem for you. You have to dismiss them. You have to get rid of them as quickly as possible in that scenario, because there's a long way from beginning to end in these transactions. And if you have somebody who is operating from a position of greed, even though they're getting everything that they asked for, you're probably going to have some issues throughout this entire process, and you now have a decision to make. Do I want to deal with this person throughout the process? Right? Now, if it's $100,000 profit in it for me, really, and they have a problem with it, I'll say, okay, well, what I'll do is anything over a certain amount, like you were asking, I may be willing to give them 20%. I'm not going to roll over and give it to them, though. I'm gonna fight it all the way. I'm gonna be like, look, if I give you everything that you want, I don't understand why you would have a problem with,
Because I was curious. Let's say you was making $100,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And after everything done, they came back to you. So, oh my God, you just ripped me off.
Okay, so here's the first thing. If I'm making $100,000, it's definitely not going to be a lease option, right? It's definitely not going to be that. But if I'm making $100,000, they're probably never going to know that because I'm going to do a double close.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you ever assigned it to someone, would you?
If I have to sign it, yeah. And with all of my buyers, that's a great question, Philip, because that's a conversation I have with every buyer that I ever have done business with. Look, do you have a problem if I give you everything that you've asked for, everything that we've described? Do you have a problem with how much money I make on the backside? No, I don't care. As long as I get it at the price that I want it. Okay, good. Then we can do business and we'll write up the agreement accordingly.
Yeah,
accordingly.
After you negotiate with them down on price, that's like you just say 20% down, right?
Yeah.
Or what they were asking for. But you made additional 40%, which you didn't know. Would you get something back to the seller or you just leave it as it is?
It depends.
Okay.
It depends. It's not out the question that I would share some with the seller. It's not completely out the question. If I thought that it was, beneficial in such a way, I would let my conscience be my guide.
Okay. Because somebody could overprice. Somebody can get it at a certain price, and you just overprice. So you made additional $20,000 on the price in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So that was why I was asking.
Yeah. I mean, it could happen. That's a problem. I think I would find a way. I'll figure it out. I would figure it out. When we're talking about the sharing of money, first of all, I operate from a abundance point of view. So I'm going to always come from abundance, and I'm not going to cheat anybody. I'm not going to abuse anybody. I'm not going to, but I am going to do it as a business, and we're going to have agreements, and we're going to stick by them. Unless, of course, they decide that or figure out a way to, bring in some sort of litigation that's going to keep all the money out of my pocket, then maybe we'll revisit it. Look, I'll pay you an additional $5,000 to stay out of litigation, and let's close this deal and let's move on with our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's what it looks like. Anybody have anything else on objection number 2? Are you going to be living in the house? Because it comes up a lot. Are you going to be living in the house? And my coaching, my advice to you is always just be honest. My typical answer is no, Mr. Homeowner. I'm a real estate investor, and what we do is we have a number of highly qualified prospects, tenant buyers in this area that are looking for a property just like yours. In fact, you'll have the right of first refusal because we will vet them out, and you will be able to determine whether or not you're okay with this person moving into your home. Does that answer your question? Is that something we can move forward on, or maybe not? So I let them know I'm in the business of putting people like her and like my buyer together. That's my business model. Right? I'm not trying to move into your house. No, I'm going to find you somebody who's going to give you exactly what you're looking for, and I'm going to do it faster than you can. That's it.
Hey, Victor, would you say, I heard somebody say that they have a program. Like, I got a program that I have tenant buyers looking for properties just like yours. Would you do it along that line?
That's the same thing. Exact same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. The way I operate, I operate a program. We do a program where we gather tenant buyers and we put them in, give them opportunities to move into homes that they might not otherwise be able to because of their length of employment, because of their wanting to save additional down payment, or because they want to move it, they want to start home ownership right now. They don't want to wait.
Gotcha. Appreciate it.
Oh,
So,
for sure.
Tlu, can
Hey,
I
Lou,
ask?
how are you, buddy?
Good. Thank you. So you're telling the homeowner that you have a potential tenant buyer,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Do you actually have it, or are you just kind of like you're gonna actually find it after the fact? After you get
Either or. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But the
Okay.
answer is pretty much the same, because I know I can find it. If I negotiate a good deal, a tenant buyer part is easy.
Oh, is it okay?
It is. It's easy. It's not hard to find tenant buyers if you negotiated a good deal and you can get them in for substantial, because usually if you can get 10% down on a lease option, for instance, that's attractive, because most of them will be looking at paying 20%. A lot of the people that are lease option buyers, they're self-employed, difficult to prove their income, or they need more time proving their income, so they need to build a track record, right? But they're highly qualified, but based on underwriting standards at a mortgage company, they can't get the loan that they're looking for.
Right.
Underwriting guideline for FHA, they don't have enough time on the job, or too much income or whatever, right?
Right.
It's just that the pieces don't come together. Lease option helps them to solve that over a period of time. So let's just say they have a bankruptcy or something that's going to fall off in 9 months, and even though they probably could qualify, it's a significant difference in interest rate.
Right. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So
would that be considered the same?
Different motivators that would allow them. Hold on, Philip. There's a number of different motivators, but they're qualified in every way. There's just one thing that's probably holding them back. And what makes them a good tenant is the amount of skin they have in the game.
I gotcha. All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, for sure, Lou. What were you saying, Philip?
That considered a wrap mortgage as well? And meaning, like, if somebody wanted to buy the home, what the percentage down they have to do to buy the home?
It depends. It depends on what type of financing they're doing.
Like, they say they put 10% down on the house.
So they're already pretty much qualified loans to show their 10% has been applied.
Mm-hmm.
For FHA, they're qualified. FHA is only looking for 3%.
Okay.
Yeah. So you help them, prove it, and you just provide the paperwork. You'll already have the contracts and the agreements and the deposit. So you can prove that to their lender that they've already made that deposit.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any more questions on? Oh my God, are you going to live in the house? Anybody have any questions, comments, experiences that they like to share?
Yeah. Okay. I got that question with that though. If the owner cannot meet the people, that won't be an issue, right?
It won't be an issue, no. Once you take a look at all of their criteria and their credentials and everything, understand though that we operate under all of the housing laws that apply throughout the country. So you can't discriminate for, race, sexual orientation, or anything like that. So you can meet them if you want, but if there's any discrimination being applied at any point, it would be an issue for us. You do understand that, Mr. Seller, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I go for the buyer too. You said this is not my home. This is someone else's home. Did you disclose that with the buyers?
Absolutely. They'll see it on the documents. They have to sign the agreements. The agreement shows the actual owner. They understand that I'm a middleman.
Okay. It smells like a book or something in a way.
Well, I have in a way, except that I have a vested interest in the property because I now have a contract for sale on that property.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I have the right to list that property, to represent that property, whatever, because in essence now I'm an owner.
Okay. You just have control of the property.
That's right. That's right. All right, so let's see. All right, Philip, since you all in here with all the questions, Mr. Guy, let's go ahead and have you do work with me on number 3. I'll read the objection and then you give me the answer in your best guts voice, okay?
Okay.
All right, how do I know the people you put in there won't tear up my house? How do I know the people in there will pay the rent and, how do I know the people you put in the house there will buy the house? It's misspelled. How do I know they'll even buy the house, or what happened if any of these events occur?
That's a good question, Victor. Why would you normally happen in that situation like that if you wasn't involved? Can you hear me? Because I know I'm around buses.
No, I can hear you. If you want to read it again, because I could hear you, I couldn't understand you. You went a little fast. It wasn't very clear. So articulate it.
Okay, that's a great question. That's a good question. Well, normally would that happen in that what would happen in that situation if I wasn't involved?
Well, I mean, I would just sell the house outright. I wouldn't have that to worry about. I just wouldn't, do it that way.
Okay, in the worst scenario, Victor. Oh, damn small. I said, damn it's small. I can't see it because I'm not on the computer. I'm on the phone. I'm sorry.
Okay. So, should we let somebody else jump in here?
Yeah.
Let me hop in there for him, Victor.
All right, Philip. I'm gonna let Horace jump up in here since he can see it on his monitor a little bit better. Okay.
Thank you for saving me. Thank you for the life reserve.
You owe me, Philip.
Yeah, you owe Horace now.
Okay, I'll probably give you a property in your area.
Okay. All right. So,
Victor. Victor, that's a great question.
Do I need? Oh, okay. Go ahead. You got it.
Victor, that's a great question. There must be a reason why you're asking it.
Well, yeah, I'm just concerned. I'm concerned about my house getting tore up, and then they tear it up and they leave, and now I'm just back in the same problem.
Okay, it sounds like you have you rented a property before and experienced something like this?
Well, Horace here for the first part, we're going to just
just read.
Just read it, and then we'll kind of go back because I like where you were going with it in terms of how you would address it. But let's just do this part right here, and then we'll dress it up a little bit.
All right. In the worst case scenario, Victor, those same things will be, will need to happen. What happened here? But I don't see anything. I don't see that happening. The folks that I want to put in there are good people. We do a 2-year rental check to make sure they have a good track record with previous rentals, employment and income verification, criminal background screening, and credit checks. See, they will have also visited with a home loan expert and have a plan to qualify for the home loan in the time frame we are discussing. If I were to draw up the paperwork today, where you have the ability to approve or disapprove this candidate, would that make you feel comfortable, and would that be something we could move forward with today, or maybe not?
Yeah, I would actually be pretty comfortable with that. Is that something you can put on the paperwork?
Oh, definitely. I mean, as I said, what we do, we go back and do a background check on the tenant, on the prospective tenant. We verify their background, we verify their employment, we make sure there's no prior issues, and once we get that all cleared away, we put them in the property. So what I could do is, I could show you an example of the paperwork we use and the verification, and after that, at 4:30. We could sit down and discuss if this makes sense, and if it doesn't make sense, we could still part ways as friends. Would that be okay?
Yeah, that would be fine. I would be good with that. I appreciate it, Horace.
Oh, no problem. Let me get to you, and again, I like to reach out to you on Skype so you know who you're dealing with, and we could get this wrapped up.
Oh, that sounds awesome. All right, thank you, Horace. I appreciate that, man. So a couple of things before we move on from this. One thing that Horace did that a lot of us should be doing more of, myself included, actually, and I'm moving, towards doing that, is getting these people on a face-to-face. When he talked about doing a Skype call or a Zoom call, that is kind of, especially through this COVID crisis, it's starting to be the way that we connect with people and put a face to the voice. And we start to, let people know who we are, what we do, and that we're a real person that they're dealing with. And here's the other thing. If they have some issues with who you are as a person, whether it be, their own prejudices or whatever, let's get them out the way first. Let's deal with it up front. You know what I mean? So that we don't deal with it after I've invested a whole bunch of time, money, whatever, into this transaction. So, and also a lot of what is happening now that we're being taught through Claude too, is that when you have these conversations, you record them. And when you do your follow-up, you send them the conversation. You send them the video and the audio of the conversation that you had. So immediately what that does is it raises your credibility through the roof, because they now get the sense that I know who I'm talking to. They're not hiding anywhere. They're a real person, and they're willing to let me, see who they are, and we're in integrity with this. It's a nice little piece that you can just plug in that really changes the level of your credibility with these buyers. So I appreciate that, Horace. That was a nice little little injection right there.
So, Victor, I like that idea about recording. What are you using to do the recording? Is there a particular app?
I like Loom.
Loom?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a what is it called? Chrome extension. Yeah, Chrome extension.
Okay, Loom.
Yeah, it's a Chrome extension. I really like Loom, because it allows you to share your screen or do whatever. But you can do all of this also with Skype, and you can do the exact same thing with the free version of Zoom. So there's no shortage of things that you can do. I like Loom for another reason too, is because it's the easiest way for me to do training for my VAs.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, it's super easy. If I want to show a VA a process or tell them where something is or whatever, I can do a 30-second Loom video, and it saves me an hour of trying to walk them through it on the phone or anything like that. So I really like Loom a lot.
All right, thank you.
Victor,
how you doing, Victor? This is LaShonda.
Hey, LaShonda, how you doing, sweetie?
All right, I'm driving.
Okay.
I just tapped in. I was listening to. I missed part of the beginning where you going over rejections. Objections.
Yeah, we're actually going over those objections right now. We just went through two of them. Three of them, but we have a few more that we're going through. Yeah, and you can always, you're in the VIP, so you can always just get the replay as well.
Okay, cool. As far as Loom, are you doing the paid version? Because I used to use Loom a lot, and then they changed it, so now I think it's like a 5-minute limit or something like that.
Yeah, and that's all I use it for, is for a 5-minute limit. Other than that, I'll just use Skype or Zoom.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah, I don't pay for it. I do the 5-minute limit. Yeah, but 5 minutes is actually a long time.
Yeah.
It's not enough for you to record an entire conversation with the prospect, but it's enough for you to introduce yourself, to go over the agreement, to do certain things where you can give them the information they need, and it's almost person to person.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Michael Goolsby made a comment in the chat about having difficulty hearing me. Is anybody else having difficulty? Is the volume okay?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Okay, cool. So Mike, I don't know, buddy. I think it might be you know, you might need to just turn yours up, or maybe, you know, disconnect and reconnect, buddy. You know, hopefully it'll you know, correct itself. Well, Jonathan, my man, nailed it. Victor, thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate you, buddy, all the time. All right, and Sandra says she has to see us later. Love you. All right, so here's the other thing about this particular question. One of the things that we like to do when we're presenting in this process is we like to answer questions with questions, because a lot of times a question will come off as an objection when it's not really an objection. It's just a question. And if you guys remember, when Horace first started, he thanked the person for asking the question, and then he asked them, there must be a reason why you're asking that. So he put it right back into my lap. I kind of stopped him and we went to the reading, but he went exactly in the same direction that we're going here. It's just it doesn't translate so much when you're reading it. But basically, after this person asked all these questions, you know, what happens, you know, everything else, after they did that, the first thing that you do is you turn around and say, what would normally happen in a situation like that if I were not involved? And they realize right away that, oh, well, I mean, oh, shit, I guess I would, you know, I guess nothing would change. I would still have the same thing. The only thing that would be different is if you sold the house outright. But under any other circumstance, all these things are possible anyway, right? So I can't give you a magic pill, but I do have processes that eliminate the potential or reduce it significantly, right? That's where you're going. But you're not going to just answer their questions. Like this is not questions and answers. I'm not going to play this game with you where you're going to get the answer and I'm going to be in presentation mode trying to overcome all of your objections. Because more than likely, they're not even objections, right? They're simply questions. They're concerns. And the very first thing you're going to say to them is, what would happen if I wasn't here? And they'll realize in their mind that, well, I guess the same exact thing, except that I wouldn't have anybody in between and I'll be dealing with this shit on my own. That'll become their reality just in that question by itself. Like, oh shit, and yeah, because it's good, you know. I mean, I can't wave a magic wand and change human beings and have them, you know, do something different. But we do have processes in place to reduce this, you know, to make this very unlikely that this would occur. Probably more so than you could come up with, because we're professionals and we do this for a living. All of that's implied, right? So that's why you go right back with a question. That's always a great question. What would you do if I wasn't here, right? And then you kind of, you know, put their mind at ease. Worst case scenario, those same things would need to happen here, you know. But I do not see that happening because of the quality of folks that we are going to put in there. And on top of it, we're going to give you the right of first refusal. You're going to get to meet these folks. You're going to get to screen these folks. You're going to get a copy of the background check, the criminal background check, the tenant background check, the income verification. You're going to get to sign off on all of that. Except that you're not going to have to do any of the work. How does that sound, Mr. Seller? Oh, good. You know, I hate doing that shit. Okay, good. I got you.
Hey, Victor, how you doing?
Okay. Hey, Jimmy Jean, what's up, buddy boy?
All right. What if they say, I just updated my appliances and my main concern is my appliances and I don't want them to destroy the places, you know?
Oh,
I'm worried about that.
I absolutely understand your concerns with that, and congratulations on you know, being the type of you know, homeowner that you know, cares about their property like that, and I actually care about your property the same way you do. So what we do is, first of all, the quality of tenant that we're going to put in your home Jimmy, they're highly vetted. In fact, I'm going to run all of their vetting information by you, so you'll have the right of first refusal. On top of that, you know, like I mentioned before, you're not going to be doing any of the maintenance on the property or anything like that. So, you know, they're home owners. They're going to be buying your home. And on top of it, what we do is we have them purchase a home warranty to cover all of the major appliances, the roof, the plumbing, and anything that might go wrong. Now, in our conversation, you said that all of those things were in, you know, tip-top and working condition. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's actually in great condition. And my concern is, what if we actually move forward and then you know, the persons that you put in the property and they lose their job? Like, how would we get to evict them? Like, what's the process with that?
It's the same process as you would under any other circumstance. In fact, you know, I would help you, you know, walk you through that process and make sure that that's done. But you'll also see that on the agreements that we give you, they're held to a very high standard, and they're going to have skin in the game such that it's going to not be to their benefit to walk away or to do something to lose this opportunity for themselves. And if in fact something does happen, because it could happen in it under any circumstance, right? Some could happen. Worst case scenario is that we help you, you know, get them out of the property and get somebody else in there under the same circumstances. You know, to be between you and I, there's a potential you could actually end up making even more money under that circumstance. Does that sound like something, you know, we can?
What if they don't want to leave? What if they actually, you know, you mentioned they got skin in the game. What if they actually want to go ahead and, you know, they want their money back? Like, how are we going to do it?
Our agreement clearly states that, you know, that it's everything is non-refundable. There's no money back guarantee. This is a home purchase, and the process would be the exact same under any circumstances, and we could help you with that if in fact, you know, it became an eviction situation or anything like that. But to be quite honest with you, you know, if I've done 100 houses, it's probably happened, you know, one time, if that, under these circumstances. You know, the only way that we can guard against that is our upfront vetting of the client. Anything that happens beyond that, well, you know, like you and I both know, there's you know, stuff happens, but we have remedies, and I'll be there with you if you need me to support you in you know, administering those remedies. Does that answer your question?
It actually answered, but I'm a bit skeptical. Okay. Let me run this by my wife real quick.
Okay, well, I thought before we mentioned that you mentioned that you were the decision maker. Is that not the case?
Yes,
or?
Yeah. You know, since I'm actually the one that's making decisions, but I just like to run it by her to make sure that my decision is made, you know, the correct way. And later down the line, I don't feel like I made a big mistake. So I like to run it by her since she's with me. We stay in the house together, and I don't want her to be upset with me. So my job is to run it by my wife. I'm pretty sure you understand. You're married, right? Yeah,
I'm not married, but I have been. So I can definitely I can appreciate.
And I'm pretty sure, how did it go? And, you know, once you actually have something you need to, you know, before you agree or run it by your wife, and how did your wife feel when you actually have it run it by her, and then she found out later that, you know, something that you actually did and you didn't run it by her? How did your wife feel?
Well, I never really had that sort of situation, but just to back up a step, I totally and completely, first of all, I appreciate you sharing that with me, and I totally and completely understand, you know, where it is that you have to do. Is it possible that maybe we can get your wife on the phone now, so that because a lot of times what happens is, you know, these conversations are lost in translation. Is she available right now, or when will she be available?
My wife is actually at work right now. She would be available around 2:00 this afternoon.
Okay. So if I called you around 2:30 and I could answer all of her questions and everything, could we make a decision at that time and decide whether we're going to move forward or not?
Maybe.
When you say so, okay. So here's the sense that I'm getting, Jimmy. I'm getting that this is not something you want to do. Is this over? And you can be honest with me. I'm fine either way. I have some other properties in the area that I'm looking to also purchase. So if this is not something for you, I totally get it, and I'm not going to be twisting your arm or whatever. I thought we had put together something that answers your questions and moves you in the direction you want to do, get you, where you want to go with your grandkids, and have you and your wife in your new home, and solve your problem for you. But if that's not something that works for you, I completely understand. So is this over?
Victor, I'm a nice guy. So since 2:00, once 2:00 hit, my wife hit the door, you make the phone call. And if she say yes, it's a go. If she say no, then, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to move forward. How do you feel about that?
I'm fine. I'm fine with that. Now you know your wife better than I do, obviously, right?
Of course. I've been with her for like 20 years.
I appreciate that, and it sounds like you you have love and respect for your wife, which is that's honorable. I appreciate you sharing that with me. Now, is there something that you saw within this conversation that maybe she would not agree with? Is there something that is there a landmine in here that I should be concerned about? Something you and I can address right now?
Like I said before, I'm just a little bit skeptical about the persons that you're going to have inside the property. That's all. But the same information that you told me about your process, your procedure, you run it to her. And if she's okay with it, like I said, I'm going to hand over the torch, and she's okay with it. She's the one we're going to actually move forward. That's all it is.
So if I assume that she's good with everything like you are right now, and you're good with everything, right?
Now, I'm okay with everything, but I need to make sure it's a final decision once she's approved of everything.
Okay, so just bear with me for a minute. Play this role with me real quick.
Okay.
Your wife is not involved. The decision is completely up to you.
Okay.
Now, I understand that she is, but the decision is up to you. Are you okay with moving forward? If you were to talk to your wife right now, would it be just a matter of giving her information, or are you really not okay with this? And is this something that maybe this is just over for us?
If it was honestly up to me and it was just me, my wife, I don't have a wife or anything, I maybe would probably move forward. Maybe
would probably, you know what, Jimmy, it really sounds like this is over for us. It doesn't sound like this is something that's going to solve your problem, and that's okay.
Victor, call me next week.
Okay, Jimmy. You know what? I appreciate it, and so I am going to consider this over, because I'm not really, I'm looking to buy a property this week, and I was hoping that this was it. So I'm going to consider this over right now. But before I go, maybe you can help me. What could I have done different? What is it that right now is really stopping you? Like, just this is completely over for us. There's no obligation on your part. Just let's just keep it 100 with me, brother. Just let me know exactly what it is that was really the issue here. Why didn't we do business today?
Well, Victor, I appreciate you for being a little bit understanding with me, and that means a lot coming from you. And especially I understand this is what you do for a living, but I just need to let this marinate for a little bit. I'm not the type that just make decisions just like that off a heartbeat. I need to let things marinate. But that's the reason why I say call me next week. And at the same time, not trying to pressure anything. If you're not comfortable to buy my house, it's so many houses that you probably could afford and purchase. But at this moment, if you're willing to wait next week, give me a call. If it's not going to be something that you want to wait next week, I totally understand. Okay, Victor, how do you feel about that?
I feel like this is over. I to be honest with you, Jimmy, I wish that you would have told me this a little bit earlier in the conversation so that I could have saved you some time and saved myself some time. I just want to wish you good luck in your house. I'll have my secretary reach out to you or something next week to see if you're still available. But you also have my number and my information. You know, if you feel like this is something that, you know, works for you down the road or whatever, you know, feel free to reach out to me. Okay.
Sounds great, man. I thank you a lot. Thank you for even taking some time out of your busy schedule.
No problem, Jimmy. You have yourself a great rest of the day.
You too.
Okay. So what happened there, guys?
That was good.
Yeah.
Man, that was a flip flop. I mean,
remember what I said at the beginning of the, if you guys weren't on at the very beginning, the first thing that I said is that we are in the business of uncovering motivations, right? And I showed you that scale from 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Right. You're never going to do a deal with somebody who's hovering around 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Like they're just not going to do a deal with you. They're going to find all kind of reasons to step off. Right.
Victor.
Yeah.
I sort of saw, this is Jose. This is the first time in your group, your VIP group.
Welcome.
Hi. Thank you. Hey, my I was sort of rating him like a 3 or 4. And so basically you lost it as far as, were you able to lift him up to get his emotional level higher?
Yeah, I was saying the same thing.
To get his emotional level higher?
Yes.
What were you thinking? Well, your mic or something is really bad. You're getting a bad echo. So I'm having a really hard time hearing you.
Okay, hold on. Let me change over real quick. Hold on.
I don't know if somebody else is talking, but I think that might be you also, Horace. So here's what I have found. Headsets on Zoom seem to have this issue a lot. Like whenever somebody has a headset, I don't know what that is. Try it again, Jose.
Can you hear me now?
About much better.
Now, okay. Sorry.
Much better. Okay, so here's a question in what you were saying. If you guys don't mind, if you're not, I'll try to mute out anybody who I can.
I lost audio. Sorry.
You lost video? Can you hear me?
I'm still having problems.
No, I can hear you fine and I can see you fine. Jose?
Yeah, I hear you, Jose. You sound good, man.
Yeah, you're good. Okay, so here's the deal on that conversation. First of all, it kind of started like in the middle of where we were going, and I wanted to get through this right here. I assumed that we had a conversation prior to that, and I kind of knew some things or whatever. And so basically, the way I played it was because he came in at the end with objections or whatever. Maybe I could have moved him if I could, had I had a little background, and I would have known, like, look, you said that you wanted to move in with your family, you wanted to get going. Were you just kidding about that?
No, I actually wasn't kidding. I was serious.
Okay, well,
I actually want to move in the next 30 days, and I'm a little bit concerned and behind on the payments. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, but I was just wondering.
So if we don't do a deal today, Jimmy, what's going to happen tomorrow?
Man, that's the same thing I'm saying myself. I don't know.
You don't know what's going to happen? Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, so the potential is then that tomorrow you're going to still have this same problem, except you're not going to have me here for a solution. Is that what I'm hearing you saying, or am I wrong?
Man, but I haven't thought about it like that. But since
let me ask you this, Jimmy. I want to be, now you shared with me that your wife was, that obviously she's really important with you in your life, and she's going to have a big role to play in this decision, right?
Correct.
Okay, so let's say that your date is December 1st.
Correct.
Right? You have decided that you're going to do something different because of whatever your concerns or reasons are right now, right? So let's say you and I don't do a deal today. Things go the way they have been going, which means that you haven't gotten the offer that you've been looking for. What are you gonna say to your wife on December 2nd?
That we should have went. We should have went with the first offer.
Do you want to deal with that like a regret, or can we just move forward here and I can clear everything up with your wife and we can do a deal today? Because I really would like to see you and your wife move on to the next stage of your life, accomplish the things, be with your grandkids. You did say that was important to you. Or were you just kidding with me?
Wow, man, you just touched the spot, and I'm getting a little bit emotional.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to come off, wrong, but
wow.
I mean, it sounded like you really had something you wanted to accomplish, and I'm literally picturing you playing with your grandkids right now. I'm picturing your wife, being happy and you having this behind you. That's what I'm picturing, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Can you see that picture?
Yeah, I actually see it, and you know what? Forget it. 2 o'clock, you give us a call, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna make it happen. Okay.
Okay. So
we're gonna make it
when I call you at 2 o'clock, I'm gonna explain everything to your wife, assuming that everything is exactly as it is. This is basically just informational, and we're gonna move forward. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're gonna be on board, man. Thank you for even, man. You put it in a perspective I didn't even think. Now I'm feeling a lot better, relaxed now. I know you're gonna get the job done.
Absolutely.
2 o'clock, give us a call, man, and I think we're gonna move forward. Not I think, we will move forward.
I appreciate it. I'll get this over to you so you can review it before then. And at 2:30, I'll be on the phone with you and your wife. I'm so excited about being able to do business with you. Okay, and you sound like a man of your word. So I'm not even concerned about you, ghosting me at 2:30. That's not something a person like you does, is it?
No.
Okay.
Hey, Jimmy, my wife said to go ahead and do it.
Well, you got an awesome wife.
Yeah. Your wife said it was okay for you to do it, huh?
That's right.
Yeah, my wife always tell me to, wait until she make her decision. But you got an awesome wife.
So yeah, right. Yeah. Hey, you guys. Hey, Jimmy, thank you so much, my friend. Jose, thank you so much for bringing it to another level for us. Do you have any questions or any input or anything that you want to share?
No, I think this is my first time, and I'm enjoying it because I like to bounce it off of people that I feel are learning just like I am. So I really see a lot of opportunity here. Will you, in this recording, will I be able to have access to that first slide that you saw? I was traveling, and so I saw it briefly. I couldn't keep my eye on it while I was driving. But I do want to be able to study it and review it. And I am part of that same CRM that you're working with, Victor. So I do want to probably touch base with you and talk to you about that offline.
Okay, I am going to put my contact information in the chat, so you guys can just go in there, get my phone number and email address and connect with me. If you have any questions, or if you need a link or whatever to any of the things we talked about, I have them.
Thank you. You did a great job. You did a great job on this.
All right, thank you, Jose. I appreciate you, buddy. So you guys, before we get off the line, before I go there, Jimmy, anything from you? You good?
No, it's great. You did a great job.
Yeah, so did you, my friend. I always appreciate having you on board, Jimmy. You're the man. I appreciate you, bro.
You're welcome.
As always. Yeah. Okay, guys. So here we go. We have our special guests in the house today, the top level players, the Grand Poobah, and his number one, co-anchor in this game, Mr. Claude Diamond and Mr. Felipe Bozans. You guys definitely feel free to jump in here and, bless us with your knowledge and your skill set.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. It's quite an intro, do I have a?
I'll put you on the spot now, right?
Yeah, I didn't even prepare a concession speech, so I'm kind of like.
You're not the only one, apparently.
That was good.
Okay. Well, that teaches you something about the mindset, and you might agree, you might disagree, you might be right or wrong and all that. But one thing you have to, and this is in life and in sales, if you're gonna go down, you better go down with a fight.
That's right. Go down swinging.
And that's exactly what you got to do. Especially, I mean, I sorry if I was late, but I see that you guys are working on objections. Objections, as Claude says, we have to look at them for what they are. They are closing opportunities. If we do them right, if we follow the process, and what's for those of us that are GUTS students, mentees, what's the right process? Anybody in the room knows what's the process for handling an objection or a brush off or a reflex response from a prospect? Do anybody know?
Well,
opportunity to close.
Ask a question.
So yes, you end with a question, and first it has a couple steps before. First, you nurture, you stroke, you nurture. You be like, hey, you know what? Thank you for bringing that up, sir. You know what? If I was in your shoes, I would probably, ask the same question. You haven't met me yet. We haven't done business yet. So it's okay if you want to look at my website. So I'm going to actually send you my website. And also, do you want references? How many references do you need? 4 or 5? What happens after 4:30 when we talk again? Are you ready to do business today?
How do I know this isn't a scam?
I don't know. Maybe you don't, sir. But let me ask you this. I mean, you must be asking that for a reason. Do you get a lot of calls of people, bothering you about this property?
Well, I've been ripped off before.
Me too. Me too.
How do I know you're legit?
You don't, sir. But that's a great question. It looks like you're thinking quick on your feet. You're like you're a smart man. But yes. You sound like you're mad at me. I mean, did I do anything wrong, sir?
Well, I don't know you. You call me out of nowhere, and you talk fast and everything like that. And
my apologies.
How do I know I can trust? How do I know I can trust you? You just called out of the blue, man.
Yeah, I did. Actually, I did call out of the blue. Great point. What do you need from me in order for us to do business today? To make it trustworthy?
Well, I want to see your contract and look it over and maybe.
Let me write this down because it sounds important to you. You want to see my contract? What else do you need?
Well, yeah, I just want to make, and I like this number 5. Oh, do you have a website I can look at?
Great question. Can we reverse the role play? Because I kind of got brain freeze there. So I mean, how do I know you're legit? I mean, do you have a website, something I can look at?
You don't, sir. We just met. I'd feel the exact same way. Total stranger calls you up, makes asks you a lot of questions, makes a lot of promises. What do you need? I'd feel the exact same way. Good for you for having those suspicions and things like that. But let me ask you something. If I could prove to you I was one of the most honest, righteous guys, I've been in business for a while. If I could give you something to make you feel comfortable, we wouldn't be able to move forward today, would we?
I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't even know if this is some kind of scam.
And maybe it is. Maybe you're right. Maybe I should just get off the phone. But imagine for a moment, sir, that this is a legitimate call. I'm a serious business person. I have excellent references, credit. I have cash online, ready to do business. Think about that, sir. You probably you're putting the winning lottery ticket in the shredder as we speak. Is that the way you want to do business?
Man, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I get so many calls about my property that, yeah.
Wait, are you more honest now than you were before? I'm a little confused.
Yeah, 117% honest at this point. So, no, but I mean, I'll be honest with you. I get so many people calling me about the property, and
I just want to
I'm
do a
sorry
deal.
if I
I
came
just
off.
want to do a deal, but you sound like you're. Did I make a pass at your wife at last year's Christmas party? It was. Were
Oh
we
yeah,
under the
you were the guy carrying out a portable mistletoe. So anyway,
Okay.
so no,
I
you
say
creep.
I say stuff like this, by the way.
And it works, guys. The beauty of it is that it works. Believe it or not, it does work. But
haven't we all met this guy though? That Felipe is playing a little too good, too well. Haven't we all met this guy, Victor?
Yeah, we absolutely have. Yeah.
By the way, I love your topic. By the way, I'm looking at the screen here. Objections are wonderful. This is a great topic. Thank you for doing this.
Oh, you're
right, guys. I have I mean, the thing about objections, again, they're closing opportunities, and you have to identify that there's different types of objections. This is not something that I came off. It's in sales books, but you have what I see here that you have. It's what they call prospecting objections. These are the ones that you find out at the very beginning of the sales conversation when we're trying to set up the agenda steps. Then you're going to have what they call the purple squirrel objections, which is something that is going to try to derail you. It's like being oh yeah, you know what, you all investors are bottom feeders. Don't chase that purple squirrel, because it's not it's going to take you off topic. Then you have the next steps objections, which is, the wishy-washy prospect is like, hey, like, can we have a call at 4:30 today to review the contract together? And then you have the deal objections, which is when, like somebody that either wants or not wants to do the deal together with you. So, but these are is a great topic.
As far as the deal objection part, Felipe, now that you mention it, it could also be just elements of the deal, correct?
Right. It is. Yeah. It
where you might have to tweak something or move something or something just to make sure that the deal fits them, as long as it it's obviously within working for you.
The terms of the contract, and that's why I love when we're dealing with the whatever deal objections. I like to use the F word, which is not what you think. It's the word fair. There's two words, fair and reasonable. When you talk to a seller, you say, you know what, the seller wants to change something in the contract, and you just tell him, hey, Mr. Seller, that's a good point. As long as it's fair and reasonable, I'll say yes. But you need to get a commitment today of them doing this business. Like, if I can do this for you, if I can change the terms at 1 and 2, are we moving forward today? Don't be subservient.
Great stuff. I have to go, guys. I just wanted to say thank you to Victor and Felipe.
Me too, guys. Me too.
I think this is great what you're doing, Victor. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm gonna jump on your calendar this week. I want to have a conversation with you.
Anytime, and if you have trouble, send me a text. We'll get you.
Okay, will do.
Take care, guys.
Have a good day.
Have a great one. Take care. Bye bye.
All righty. Bye bye. Okay, so you know who that is. Claude, for those of you who don't know, and I think all of you do know who he is the creator of the Guts sales system. And part of what he was referring to, especially when he, those did I make a pass at your wife, right? Like, that's way outside our comfort zones in a lot of certain, like most of us will not say that. But here's the thing about sales. You have leads, you have these people on the phone, just try it. Just have the guts to try it and say, and see what happens. And what you'll find is that your imagined response is going to be completely different than the response that they're going to have to the same exact question or response or whatever. Like, you just don't ever know. So you have to have the guts to be outside the box in your presentation. You don't want to be that same guy or girl who calls them and hello, Mr. Seller, I saw your property for sale. I wanted to see if it's still available. Well, yeah, it's still available. And so you kind of go down this road. So now they've kind of put you in this little category of a salesperson, and they're on the defensive. They're basically looking to just everything you say. They're like this. They're like, they're trying to chop it down. right? That's not the relationship you want with a prospect. You want immediately for them to recognize you as somebody different than the rest, and also somebody with whom they can have a relationship, right? Like, okay, this guy, okay, I'm cool with you. You know what I'm saying? You my guy. We talked about this a few weeks back. There's a point at which some of your prospects, and those of you who have done deals, you know what this looks like. You want to get to that point where that prospect knows that you're their guy or girl, right? Like, they're literally, I mean, I've had prospects who have received calls and have referred the calls to me. Right? That's where you want to be with a prospect, where a prospect knows that you're their guy. They know that you have integrity. They know that you have knowledge. They know that you are on their side, like you have their best interests at heart. They know that you communicate consistently with them, and they get from everything that you've said and done that you have honesty and integrity. Once you establish those things, they will literally close the door on everybody else, right? Those are the relationships. Those are the ones that you will go to the finish line, because understand that this is just a real estate deal for the most part looks like this: a conversation, some level of agreement, problem, close. That's what a transaction often looks like, right? So the only thing that cements you together throughout all the problems and all of the challenges is that relationship, that where you got into that, you're my guy. I can trust you that you're going to help me through this scenario, that you're going to help me solve this problem, that you are going to be operating with my best interests at heart all the time. Once you do that, the rest of it is easy in terms of you'll get through this, right? But it's a transaction. It's a real estate transaction. All sorts of things could go wrong between the beginning and the end. Anything from a title issue to a cost issue to a family member trying to inject themselves into the conversation at in the 11th and a half hour. I mean, there's so many things, and the only thing you have to anchor you is that relationship that you build with that person, and that's what makes the guts system so attractive to me, because it puts you at a whole nother level. It distinguishes you from the telemarketer sales guy. Make sense?
Yep.
All right, guys. Hey, it's 11:05. Anybody have any other questions, concerns, anything that they want to share? Did everybody get something out of today's session? I thought it was amazing. I appreciate you guys for always showing up and showing out.
Of course.
Oh, you know what? Before I do that, let me, I did say I was going to put in my information, and I'll leave it in there for a minute. Give me 1 second. To everyone. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate the comment, my friend. Somebody asked what Philip was asking, what sales book Felipe was reading. We'll ask him next time. And I'll put my information in here and leave it in there for a little while. So my email is victor@thewalkerrealtygroup.com. And we have a really attractive, I'm doing one-on-one coaching. So if any of you guys feel like you could benefit from some one-on-one coaching, or, just you want to have a conversation about it and, see if partnering up would be something that would benefit you, I'm definitely willing to have that conversation all the time with you guys. It's at a price point that's super attractive. And, I have a calendar available. It's at the realestatewholesalersclub.com, realestatewholesalersclub.com. That's a calendar there. If you just want to have a conversation and see what's possible, definitely jump on there. Okay, guys, there's my contact information, Victor at thewalkerrealtygroup.com, and my phone number is 213-793-1848, and I answer my own phone.
Hey Victor, where's that at? You still got the screen on the what's the name?
It's in the chat, buddy.
Oh, okay.
There we go. But yeah, it's in the chat, so you guys can see it in the chat.
Yeah, I see it in the chat now.
Okay. All right. So before we say goodbye, does anybody have any questions or anything that you can answer? I just want to say again, thank you guys so much for showing up and showing out every week. Let me do a quick roll call to say thank you to Edward, to Philip on his iPhone, Jason Richter, Jose Ayala, Curtis Smith, Horace Cyrus, Jaime Cuevas, Jamario, John Alexander, Jonathan, my man LaShonda, Lou, Mag, Marvin, the other Marvin, and the other Marvin. We have 3 Marvins in the group. That's awesome. Marvin Elmore, Marvin who only puts Marvin. Oh, Marvin Elmore's in here twice. Philip Montoya, my man Rick Gentry. Rick, thanks for being here, buddy. Always appreciate you. Steve Mavis, Suzette, and thank you, Suzette, for joining us for the first time. Really appreciate you being here. If you ever have any questions, we do this every Wednesday from 9 a.m. Pacific to 11 a.m. Pacific, or a little bit over, which I believe was that. That's 12 noon on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So 12 noon on the East Coast every Wednesday. We're here for 2 hours. Answer your questions, do some role play, and up your game. Thank you guys a lot for being here. Can't let you know how much I appreciate you. Have a great rest of the week, and let's go make some dollars. Bye-bye now.
Appreciate you, Vic.
Y'all, you're welcome.